We'll see in the next 2 to 3 years very hot discussions and further evolution of digitalization, remote monitoring, electronic ECRFs, electronic medical records, especially in Russia. This is still a hot potato, and today's discussion just confirmed that interest from healthcare professionals, from industry is very focused, but also I think regulator will be involved in this discussion sooner or later.
I think it leads us to these decentralized clinical trials because it would be easy at the end, maybe not in a startup, but at the end it would be easier, cheaper, more efficient, and again, patient centricity. So decentralized clinical trials would be one of the trends, definitely. I think we will see, and we already see it, studies in orphan disease. And even if it's oncology, you're looking for patients with a certain mutation, with a certain, very, very strict criteria to be included. So how to work with orphan patients, it would be a challenge, and it would be still a trend. And maybe the third one, I would say new modalities like cell and gene therapies. It's coming, it's needed, but how to do it, in a certain country, it's still a big topic to discover.
I'm quite excited about what virtual reality and augmented reality, VR and AR, is going to bring to clinical research, especially with Facebook renaming themselves recently to Meta, and their goal on creating a metaverse is really creating a digital universe. And as part of that digital universe, you'll be able to do anything. You'll be able to buy pizza and order gifts on Amazon, but you're also going to be able to visit your doctor and take part in a clinical trial. And how that's going to work should be pretty interesting. Everything is decentralized, so you'll probably be in the comfort of your own home, linked into telemedicine, and maybe a nurse that comes to your house. So home nursing companies, I think, is going to play a big part in clinical trials going forward. And they literally going to be the facilitators. And as they get to you at your house, you're going to be able to go through the whole consent process and actually take part in the trial as if you were in the hospital. So obviously, in a lot of cases, there are lots of in-hospital studies and where these things can't happen. But I think that's going to be quite interesting.
This is a fascinating time we are in when you look at recent developments, and it's not just corona-based, it's also the whole revolution in the gene therapy, gene editing, RNA therapeutics, RNA editing. There's so much going on, and it's not yet the end of the story. At the moment, on an almost weekly basis, you see new biotechs being created, being funded, that explore that field, being it epigenomics, being it epitranscriptomics, to name few. They hold so immense promise to target diseases that we were never able to target before, and that is based on the possibilities you have with these technologies nowadays. In former times, when we talk about small molecules and even monoclonal antibodies.
Regarding future trends in clinical trials, what can I see as an active auditor and QA manager? Most sites and most sponsors, they try to use electronic trial master files. So there is no need to keep monitoring files, investigator files, and sponsor trial master file as a separate binder, of course paper binder. Most vendors provide solutions for electronic trial master files, so I see option to unite site, CRO and sponsor files in one binder. Of course, this binder will be electronic binder, and it will contain most latest versions of protocol, investigator brochures, latest versions of investigator contracts, ICFs, some kind of manuals, pharmacy manuals, laboratory manuals, and so on and so forth.
First, the data sources will be evolving. Their number will be growing, and they will be evolving from the standard data sources like electronic health records, medical records. They will of course remain, but what I'm observing now is the growing number of patient apps in which the patient reported data is captured. Also, utilization of different sensors, even in studies, like for example, watch or running shoes or any sensor that is attached to the body and can capture the signals coming from this body. Why is that important? Because it can help us capture digital outcomes. And these specific outcomes will be dedicated to therapy area. So they will be different for multiple sclerosis, for oncology, for, cardiology, for diabetes, etc.
One other thing that we saw recently, and we're busy engaging with this group, is they created a motorized robot that has a tablet mounted to it. So it's very similar to a Segway transportation device, and it's got a tablet mounted to it, and you can actually rent it in your office space, and it will allow you to drive around in different parts of the office, and you'll be able to attend meetings in person. Because you're able to drive into the actual meeting room, you're able to see people, they'll be able to see your face, you can interact with them, you can see their facial expressions. And I think that's also going to bring a whole new, I think that the past 18 months with the pandemic has really opened up so many possibilities. So I think taking that kind of technology once again will allow an investigator to sit centrally, maybe at a metropolitan area, but he can actually visit rural locations in the clinics like on a weekly basis, and he can drive around in a specific clinic, and he can interact with the patients, interact with the site staff, be there in person to go through an informed consent process. So I think those are probably the things I'm most excited about in the next 3 to 5 years.
We observe the growing number of data capture platforms that of course need to be compliant with current regulations. We have been talking also a lot about the data structure, and these data platforms can help us get the data in a structured format, and that in case can help with data integration, with data coming from different sources, which is also the trend, because we, for example, have electronic medical record. We might have the sensor which has collected the data from the patient in home setting, and if we combine these data sources in one, let's call it a data lake. It's not a typical data lake, but let's call it like that. Then the value of the data is growing significantly.
Handwritten forms will be only special logs or maybe some kind of site internal journals. For example, temperature recording logs, IP shipment, IP administration, IP storage, site team training logs, maybe this. And investigators will have logins, and they will have passes, so sponsor can update general electronic study master file with latest versions of all documents. Investigators can get acquainted and confirm receiving of these documents in electronic way. And next step may be implementing massive electronic signatures, so sites can avoid printing logs, for example, for training logs, for IB receipts, some kind of laboratory testing confirmations. They will just use authorized electronic signature and complete documents. So all these documents can be kept in cloud service and be available for sponsors, CRO, investigators every time without any delays.
The future of medicine and pharmaceutical development is unlimited. It's so bright, and it's the good news for patients in need, because we will be able in a couple of years to tackle many more diseases for which we had no angle to start with. Now we have these tools, we have the research, we have the experts, we have the funding, that I think we can make a big difference in a couple of years for many diseases that are horrible, that have a high unmet medical need, and also it will be at a at a different price angle, that's also what I believe, that we can also deliver it to many, many patients in the world, be it in high income or low income countries. That's a view that I have, and it's a vision that I have, and that's something that makes me excited being in pharma industry and in biotech and doing the research and the development in areas where we can actually serve these patients.